What if AI wasn't about replacing your humanity, but amplifying it? Today's guest, Rob Cressy, an AI enablement coach for high performing leaders who helps people use AI to grow their business and their life together, is here with me. And I'm so excited because we're going to be talking about the powerful human approach to AI, leading with identity, vision, and values, and just creating more impact in less time. So, Rob elevates rooms, he builds momentum, and he inspires bold, aligned action. And I'm really excited for this conversation today. Welcome, Rob.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited as well.
Yeah. So let's get into it. I know you're all about jamming, you're all about having great conversations. And let's talk about how you got started with AI. Like what really enticed you to get into this world?
So I have no AI background. I do not have a tech background, but I do have the gift of being forward thinking. So on the fifth day that ChatGPT was released in beta, I think it was November 2022, a friend of mine texted me and he said, "Hey, check out this website." And within the first minute of using it, I felt like I used the internet for the first time. And I immediately saw the next decade of business
Yeah.
and I was all in because I legitimately couldn't believe it was real. It felt like magic, even with having no background or anything
Yeah.
in this. And how many times in life do we wish people would have said, if I only I was there when Facebook got invented or YouTube got invented or Google Ads got invented, I would have capitalized off of that opportunity. So for me, I legitimately believe that this is going to change the next decade plus of our life and business. And I wanted to be in the game, and I was all in within minute one.
That's so awesome. And you know what's really cool about that too is that it gives us all hope for those of us that are like, I don't even know where to start with AI. Like, this is just so above my head. Like, I don't have a tech background. I don't know anything about like how to use the software. So it's really encouraging that someone such as yourself can be so incredibly successful using it and not having the background. Right.
And that's the superpower that I bring to all of this that I try and open everybody's eyes to of like the relatability. So AI is branded poorly because of actually what you just said. I don't have an AI background. I don't have a tech background. I'm not a coder. This is brand new. So everybody thinks it's a certain thing.
Mhm.
But I think what's missing that I have that most people haven't clicked on yet is I'm all in. So I've been a
Yeah.
full-time entrepreneur, all in on his dreams and goals for 15 years in a row. Every single day, I'm like, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. So when ChatGPT came out and I saw what it could do, I was like, holy smokes, I'm already great coming into this. I've already done the work. I'm already doing the work and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. So I'm unromantic about this. It's just a tool, right? So it's despite being this person, I really don't care about AI, despite being all in and it's my entire business. Because as an entrepreneur, our goal is to grow and improve. So all the self-limiting beliefs, to the way that I think about this is growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Learning AI is nothing but growth mindset 101, which you learn from Carol Dweck's book Mindset. And a fixed mindset says, I'm trapped in this position. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have enough time. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know AI. So think of it like riding a bike, right? Because all this is learning something new. So you buy the bike, you put training wheels on the bike, they ride it for a little bit, they take the training wheels off, they get better, they keep going, and a year later they're popping wheelies. So the thing that people aren't seeing is that the key to their growth is experience.
Mhm.
So many people are staying at zero because of their limiting beliefs without realizing, well, I'm just learning something new, no different than any other program or any other skill. And it just so happens the ROI of learning this skill is infinite.
Absolutely. I love that so much. And I think, what I'm really seeing is that there's just this very strong level of fear. People are like, I don't want this to replace humanity. I don't want it to replace creativity or the ability for us to be able to truly connect as humans. We see those Facebook posts where it's like the slashed and we just know it's AI. We become accustomed to the different types of writings. We're seeing it. And so I think for a lot of people, that's one of their biggest fears is that it's going to eventually replace that true, authentic connection. And I know that's what you speak on so much.
So even the framing of this question, which I totally get and I hear a million times, we have to unpack. So you look at the word fear. So in my instance, I was all in. I did not see any fear. But why?
Mm.
So there's two quotes that I love. One of them is from Steve Harvey. Your dreams need to be bigger than the fear. And then the other one is, what's on the other side of fear? Nothing. Okay. So this is all made up here. So then you look at the language of what you said, not you, but this is like in general. I don't want dot, dot, dot. So in my coaching, there's two things. If someone says it, you immediately have my attention. I am and I am not.
Hmm.
Because you're about to tell me a statement of your identity.
Mhm.
I am infinite love. Whoa, that's who you are. Versus I am not a coder. I am not good at
Yeah.
this. We do not speak into existence that which we don't want. And it's interesting that the people who are saying, I don't want, are usually the people who are not using it. Because if you flip the lens, you don't have to create what you don't want, because the true reality is, and this is the most frustrating part for me, everything that everybody says they don't want, I don't have involved in what I do. It amplifies my creativity. I put my heart, my essence, my soul, my vision, my goals, my values inside of it. I make the world a better place, and I legitimately come from a place of positive impact. I have a goal of helping 10 million people, and this can be a catalyst for it, because the word that people aren't seeing is capacity. AI can help you write a tweet or build a rocket ship to the moon, right?
Right.
So how is it that in between there, there's no creativity, there's no love, there's no heart? That's only because of the framing that people are coming from. And the reality is that most people have never been part of a conversation like we are having now, to have someone show them that they can use this in a way that's aligned to who you are, your goals, your vision, and your values, so that everything you don't want is not included by design, and more of what you want. Because the reality is, I'm a creator, I'm a creative. That's why I am going to excel, because everybody else is saying, you can't be creative with this. That's your thing.
Exactly. And I love the phrase building a rocket to the moon, because you literally can compound on every single action that anything that you put into ChatGPT or AI in general, you can learn from, you can build off of, you can be creative, you can learn more about yourself, just because it's really about a psychological experience, in my opinion, because what you're learning is different ways that you can utilize your skill sets, your giftings, and it helps you dig into yourself. It helps you to mentor yourself because, I'm all about self-awareness, self-reflection, taking time to really identify where we need to bridge the gaps. What are the things that we really need to work on? And so even from like a psychological standpoint, it's so incredibly powerful. It's something that we can use every day. And so I think that can help us to minimize the fear, to say that it's not just about, getting things done for you. It's about learning. Like, it's not about just saving time. It's about the connections that can be made with other people, how to build something immaculate, something that's going to change the world, that's going to have massive impact, not just for your immediate surroundings. Like, the thing that I love is that the possibilities are endless. And so whatever you're putting into it, you're gonna get out of it.
Okay, just look at the difference in your language from the way that you are talking, and I could feel the energy, versus the I don't want.
Mhm.
There's just same person, two different ways of talking about all of this. So let's unpack the few things that you said, because this is the levels to the game. And this is actually the levels of the game of business and entrepreneurship that you're talking about, right?
Right.
Because the levels of awareness and the levels of thinking. So in doing this for the last 3 years, I've gotten really good at helping people build this high performance foundation. And I recently created something called the unlimited method: go from AI dabbling to AI dangerous, because it does not take 30 days in order to get really good at ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I can do it in one if you give me this focused effort. And there's only 3 words I need you to remember that are your key to growth and success with AI for the rest of your life: personalize, think, create.
Mm.
Personalize. How do you make this who you are? Well, let me put in my goals, my vision, my values, my brand voice, right? Because the big challenge people are having right now is I don't want to sound like a robot, right? There's that I don't
Right.
want voice. Cool. So let's not do that by design. And the second you do this, and this is the first step in all of my coaching, and it is this step that every single room I go into, keynote speaking, team trainings, everyone's like, I didn't know you can personalize this. Number two is think. And you said this. This is all around being intentional about your mindset, right? So most people roll in and they treat it like Google, where they say, let me ask it a question. I want to get the right answer. So it's transactional. But what I heard from you is growth, learning, mindset, awareness. So now it's a collaborator, it's a creative partner, it's an assistant. But here is the key to all of this. And when you adopt this, everything changes. And you actually said this possibility mindset. So the thing that separates me from the stranger danger, fear, the everything else is I have a possibility mindset of what if, dot, dot, dot. What if I can help 10 million people? What if I can get water to everybody in the world? What if anything? And then once you come from that place, then everything is possible because the true reality is write me an email, build me a rocket ship to the moon. Everything legitimately is possible. And then the last thing, create, is all around turning your ideas into action.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just play Chat GPT, but then they don't actually ship the work. The goal here is systems thinking because systems scale. So as high performing business owners, you and I, we're doing this. Yes, we can grow, but to grow our business, we need better systems. How do we create better systems? Well, AI can be that amplifier with us. And then here's the bow on top. And it's mastery level and simple, and almost no one gets this. And it's why I'm so optimistic of talking to everybody.
Yeah.
Everything you need is already inside of you. So I don't have a tech background. I'm not a coder. I don't know anything about AI. That's irrelevant because what do we start with? What do you want for your goals? What's your vision? What's your experience? What are you looking to build? Because all you have to do is take what's in your head and do what? Put it into Chat GPT. So therefore, the only limit is yourself, your own thinking and your own, what was that word you used? Awareness, right? So it's your thinking and your awareness. So are we allowing the scarcity lens to be the thing that stops us from inaction, which is, you see this everywhere in life to begin with, or are we allowing the possibility mindset and say, well, if I don't know, I wonder if there's ever anything that I could do about that. Maybe I just put what I don't know into ChatGPT and say, help me understand what I don't know. I'm afraid of using ChatGPT. I don't want it to zap my creativity. Help me see how that's not true. And then you're like, oh, and that's where that's when the light bulb clicks.
So really, for somebody that doesn't use it in the way that you're describing it, in order to remove some of that fear or limitations, like, man, I don't even know where to start, how to do this thing. It starts with a decision to create goals and decide, like, this is what I want to work towards. I want to create this vision and just identify that and start creating that in your mind, putting it down on paper, like you said, and allowing it to work with you. So it's not that you have to necessarily know the how or exactly how it's all going to come together. It's not like we need to know all the answers because it's going to help us with that. So I think that what you're touching on just in terms of helping people to recognize that it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to even be overwhelming because they can start with one specific thing, just one thing. And the thing that I love also is that you can create projects, you can create different pieces of work that it's just all in that section. So it's not like you are just using this big piece of software and it's going here, there, and everywhere. It's compartmentalized. So we can keep it really, really simple.
Here's the levels to this game. And all of this is so simple because remember, where did I start from? Zero, just like everybody else. So I went from zero to speaking on stage in 3 years, right? For something that did not exist. So let that be inspiration for everybody else. I did not wake up one day being like, I'm going to be an AI keynote speaker. It's like, well, this is just where the path went for it. So the true entrepreneur, high performer, business person, if we're looking to grow, AKA turn a dollar into $1.50. So early on in ChatGPT, and still now, people would say, AI doesn't work. It told me George Washington went to the moon. And I sit there and I'm like, that's irrelevant because by design, foundationally, I am using it for business growth. Turn a dollar into $1.50. Doesn't mean I'm just being transactional. It's an easy way for me to state that. But what are the best ways that we can grow in business when you are the best? What are my blind spots? What are my challenges? What are my frictions?
Love
What
it.
are the holes in the boat? What's not working for me? So the same way that the person said, I'm overwhelmed, well, there's the beginning of AI overwhelm, but then let's move to where you and I are operating and being like, we're building teams, massive visions, throwing events, you with vision casting and clarity and all of these things. Let's take that which limits us and turn that into the answer. So one of my favorite books is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, and it's all based around Stoic philosophy. And there's a quote from Marcus Aurelius: the impediment to action advances action.
Yeah.
What stands in the way becomes the way. So now with AI, we can identify the thing that is standing in the way, even if we have no idea what it is. And then we put that into ChatGPT and it can help us create the better way. So I call this creating with the invisible. AI is so good, you can create a tool in your toolbox, like mentally or the way that you create, that says, every single time I prompt, one of the things I'm going to ask is what is the hidden and non-obvious? Because that allows me to see what I can't see. And most people, once again, think about where we started from. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what I'm doing. And we're saying, no, 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 wait a second. Use this in a human first, heart first perspective that is aligned to what you want to create. And then now here comes the levels of the game, because the real problem of what you're saying, and you specialize in this, is a lack of clarity. It's hard to hit a goal if you never set the goal.
Right.
So it's very challenging to connect the dots looking forwards, but you can always connect the dots going backwards.
That's right.
Well, guess what? If all we need is that goal, well, wait a second. Everything else becomes goal, 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 goal. And we start, and this is why people like me become people like me, is because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then you're like, oh my God, look how many areas of improvement I have in my business.
Yeah.
And then you see the vision of what's possible from the Dan Martells of the world, the Jesse Itzlers of the world, the people out there that you see the way that they're creating business and creating impact. And you're like, if they can do it, so can I. And then they share their roadmaps and you're like, thank you very much. Let's reverse engineer that. But then you got to do the work.
Right. Exactly. I think one of the most amazing things about it is the ability to be able to crush time and basically accelerate everything that you're doing. And so whether you're just starting out or you're scaling to 8 figures, we can utilize it as a tool that we can accelerate every single system, every single process. And so like in the science of scaling with Ben Hardy, it talks about doing the 10-year goals and bringing it into 1 year. And that's one of the things that I'm always thinking in my head, my 10-year goals. Obviously, I want to try to get there faster. I want to accelerate every piece of what I'm doing. And that, of course, takes saying no, but also to your point, bridging the gap of like, what are the blind spots? What are the things that I'm missing here that I'm not thinking about? I might have a big picture idea and list all these things that I know I need to work on. But what about the stuff that I don't know about? And that's really the secret sauce.
We're going to say some things over and over again because legitimately this is the way. And these are the things that I drill into the head of the people that I work with. I want you to see that all of this is about one thing: thinking, right? This is just the perspective and the approach. So the thing that has made me unique in this AI era, because I don't have a tech background, because I don't have an AI background, is my approach, right? I need to keep this light, easy, and fun. I need to make this simple. I need to make this aligned to the way that I want to do this. And when you understand it's just the way that you think about this that creates your reality of what's possible, then guess what? That costs $0. This is all around the way that you show up. And when you're operating at the level like you and I do, It's why I get so excited meeting someone like you, because one of the things I say to my clients is the more you see, the more you can see,
Yes.
right?
Mm.
So you take that 10-year goal from Benjamin Hardy's book and you crush that thing down to one. And then you start to see the first inkling of like, oh my God, I didn't know. And this is also that blind spots thing, right?
Right, right.
And then once you've seen that, you will continually be like, well, whatever goal I have, I'm then going to ask AI, how can I do this 10 times faster? And what's my blind spot? And then you're going to say, oh, well, most people see holes in their boat, their challenges, their fears, their friction as bad things. You're going to go, no, I want an awareness of the holes in my boat, because what are we going to do? We're going to build a better boat by saying, this is what's wrong with this boat. Let's now, and then you're going to say, well, now that we're aware of this, let's do this faster and better. And then since we're building this boat once, we might as well just turn this into a system, because this is going to keep happening over and over again, because systems scale. And this is where the layers come on, right? So
Right.
what I really try and do is build this high performance foundation for, these are the words I use, for how you think, create, and lead. Because Genesis, here's the thing that can change someone's life right now if they get this. And once again, we're going to go back to the I don't know person. And none of these are judgments. This is just the reality of the market, right? Because you said, I'm going to take time from 10 years to 1 year. But you know what a lot of people are saying? I don't have enough time to learn AI or to do all of these things. And when you understand that all of this is about your leadership in how you lead over the next decade, we can over dramatize that this is about AI.
Yeah.
This is leadership 101. But guess what leadership starts with? Yourself.
Yeah.
So foundationally, the first thing I do in my program, my coaching, is the 5 principles of leadership in the AI era. And essentially, all you'd have to do is take the transcript of this conversation right here, put it into Chat GPT and say, hey, Chat GPT, tell me the leadership lessons that Rob and Genesis are talking about here, so that I am operating from abundance and growth mindset, not from scarcity.
Mhm.
Because if you're a leader, you're leading teams, you're leading yourself, you're leading your vision, you're leading your family. And this is why I take a holistic approach to this. So now look at what changes when you look from the lens of AI, from you being the leader. Because here's the key that most people don't see at the very beginning. I fundamentally teach, talk to Chat GPT like it's an employee. You're the boss, it's your employee. So you wouldn't go in there and give your employee generic stuff and be like, why did this not work? You would say, here's what I want you to do. Here's when I want this done. Here's context of the decision right here. Here's what we're going, and here's the time frame. But most people, once again, are using it like Google.
Yeah.
They're just going to ask a question, get an answer. They don't like the answer. This thing doesn't work. But now step into the leadership lens. And when you step into the leadership lens and you understand there's an infinite ceiling, we can create infinite impact, infinite growth. Everything's already inside of you. You take your possibility mindset, you think into the AI, and then you can legitimately do anything you want in the world, which is how you go from zero to speaking on stage just by doing the things that light you up.
And that was actually going to be my next question for you, is like what that framework can look like. And you specifically talking about leadership is so profound, because it's not necessarily something that you think about in regard to AI. And so what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing and basically getting from you and everything that you're saying is that it is about the way that you lead, the way that you think, your mental state, and really understanding more about yourself and the attributes that you want to grow, like your skill sets, your personal, yeah, ideas, the concepts, the things that you want to personally develop, which has nothing to do with AI.
Now we're starting to get it, how Rob with no AI background is creating and not actually caring about the AI.
Which is so cool. It kind of brings us to the next point, because you're heart led, and so am I. And so I relate to that so much, and that when you lead with your heart, when you lead from that human perspective, that authenticity, the way that people truly connect, then it becomes a completely different ballgame, right?
It's
And
the entire ball game, and it's the ultimate differentiator. So once again, there's going to be levels to this game. Level 0, you're not in the game. Level 1, now you're in the game, but no personalization and you're using it like everybody else. Then the next level becomes, all right, cool. Now I'm using it with personalization as a thought partner where I'm leading this thing right here. But the true next level of all of this is where it becomes an extension of who you are. So I created this term called soul data because in the way that I use AI and early on, my goal was to try and break it because I couldn't believe it was real. So I was like, all right, let's see how good this thing is. So I just kept doing things that I'd previously gotten paid for to see how quickly could it do it and how much better would it be. And one of the things that I did early on was back in the day when I was running a sports marketing agency, I used to get paid $5,000 to create a social media strategy for a brand. It would take me about 30 days to do so. And that's an old experience. That's not typically what I'm doing any longer. But I was like, let me see what I can do with this. Legitimately, in 3 minutes, it spit out a world-class social media strategy for a brand. And I was like, whoa, game changer. So once I understood this, it was like, wow. So then they created a memory feature, right? So it remembers things about you and your chats. And one of the other mantras that I create for myself, which I then share with my clients, is impress yourself. This goes to capacity, right? Because I would love it if once a day or usually once a week or once a month, you do something with AI where you're like, whoa, I can't believe this just happened. It just happened to me last night. I'll share this with you later about sort of like what happened. But you sit there and you're like, I can't believe what I just saw right there. And I realized something. When you leverage the memory that ChatGPT has, it remembers your conversations, but you can incept what you want into the memory. What would be valuable for us to incept into ChatGPT if we're coming from a heart-first perspective? I don't know. How about my 1-year goals, my 3-year vivid vision, your 10-year vision, my core values, my I am declaration statements that I speak every single day. There's a really good book, Love Money, Money Loves You, and it's all about creating an abundant mindset. And one of the practices in there, and she goes, for you to anchor in your self-worth every single day, I want you to write down one thing you value about yourself every day. Make it a consistency practice. Of course, nobody actually does what's in the book from the person who says, this is how you can create the thing that you want, but I do, right? So I took this practice and once a day for, let's call it 180 days, I wrote down one thing I value about myself every single day. I value my growth mindset. I value how I show up as a dad. I value my creativity. I value how I'm great at basketball. I value everything. I value my hat game, right?
Yeah.
I value how personal, you name it. After the first 20, you really got to start digging deep. But guess what I then did with that? Put 180 things that I value about myself into ChatGPT. And guess what Rob's ChatGPT mirrors back to him? Himself. And that's why I call this soul data. Because remember this forever in the rest of the AI era. There's one thing that AI will never have. Soul. S-O-U-L. So your ability to infuse your essence into ChatGPT becomes an ultimate game changer. So the reason why I talk like this and I operate on this level is because I've done the air quotes, as Byron Katie would say, the work on myself. So I have the data to put into the AI because 15 years ago as an entrepreneur, I started at 0. I had no growth mindset and no self-awareness. The same way I started with AI, no experience whatsoever. So for 15 years in a row, every single day, my goal is to make myself better today than I was yesterday. So the way I even became a coach, and I never set out to become one, is to turn myself into a high performer because I was the opposite of one. Yeah. Those habits, those routines, those mindsets, those ways of being, they're all written down. It's all clarity. Put it into the AI, and guess what? It becomes an extension of who you are.
This is some deep stuff. It's like really powerful. I'm just sitting here like, I'm excited.
Legitimately, that is correct. So how big are your dreams? How big are your goals? How big do you want this? So What I am sharing with you is just the journey that I've went on for 15 years in turning myself into this person by not being this person. And this is a series of stacking ones over zeros. The mindset, the heart set, the action, the Dan Martells of the world, the Jesse Itzlers of the world, the learning, the books, the all of the creativity, the sports marketing, the going on content, the being relationships with people, all of this. Everything you need is already inside of you. So here's where I want to illuminate everything for you because we talk about the big opportunity. Most people have never done the work. Most people don't do the work. Therefore, for those of us who do the work on ourselves, in our businesses, and or with AI, we can then put it in there. And then since we are people who do the work consistently, guess what's going to happen? That advantage is going to compound. So when Genesis is taking her 10-year vision and turning it into one, I couldn't do that. I'm brand new with AI. You're going to sit there and speak in front of a room full of people and you're going to say, you're no different than me. You just got to show up, right? So
That's right.
what I do is transformational. It is not hard. It is simple by design. It is completely aligned to who you are, your heart, and I want to go for depth because I'm world class and this is the standard that my clients deserve. Because imagine what you and I can do if this is how we lead right now and moving forward, right? Because this is the macro opportunity for people like you and I. When you come from a good heart where you truly do want to help people, AI is a multiplier of it.
That's right.
This is an advantage now. So when I see you and I meet you and I know how amazing you are and how much love and warmth you have, I light up because I'm like, you do not realize what I see in you about the way that you can do that because you cannot give to others that which you're not experiencing yourself. So I want to lead myself, to lead my clients, and I truly feel an obligation and a responsibility to share this because of everything we're sharing in this conversation.
Yeah, and it really makes you realize that you can achieve the impossible. Like, the things that you think are impossible are not. They are possible, and when someone comes in and they have a big dream and they're just thinking to themselves, "Man, I wanna do this so bad, but I just don't know how." It's truly the answer that helps you to walk through those thought processes and put things down on paper, and when you are willing to do the work, like you said, if you are willing to do the work, which I truly believe is that first step, that first essential step in us gaining momentum and traction and understanding how we can truly build something out, we have to be willing to commit to that. And then once we make that commitment and we know that we're ready to perform at a higher level with that commitment, then we can put it into ChatGPT and we can take off. It can skyrocket. We can build ourselves that ship to the moon and we can change the world. And I know that's what we're both about. We both truly want to make tremendous impact in this world. And beyond the impact, I really truly want to build a legacy. And I want it to be a profound legacy where I'm touching generations upon generations of people to give them hope in themselves, to give them essentially a gift from myself that they can believe in themselves. I want to be able to be an example of what could potentially be for others. And that means that I have to show up to do the work in order for them to understand how they can show up too. And I know that you're of the same mindset as well, where are you're on the forefront of this. And I think AI right now, because it is somewhat untapped and people are a little bit unsure, and there's the fear element, and there's, all of these different hindrances that people are concerned about. When you're on the forefront and you're showcasing it in a way that you are, and you're putting it out there that this doesn't have to be scary, this can be a part of your life to build something so immaculate that you don't even know that's possible right now, that you can truly change lives upon lives, that there is no limit to what is possible. I think it's just an awesome place to be because as you said, when people started with the internet, there was that big fear of like, how is this going to change society? How are we going to change the way that we connect with each other? Look at it now. Look at the social media platforms when someone first started on YouTube or Facebook or any of these other avenues. Now is the time to really learn about this and to basically do the work. Put in the work behind the scenes so that you can utilize it to the best of your ability.
There has never been a better time in the history of the world to make your dreams happen than right now, and faster and easier and better and bigger. So let me make this as simple as possible, right? So there's only 3 ways for you to learn ChatGPT now. And I want to say this because people are going to over dramatize. I'm overwhelmed. I don't have enough time. I don't know what I'm doing. So you say, all right, I'm listening to this conversation. I want to get in. Number one, you can learn it on your own, self-paced. So what does that mean? You're going to watch YouTube videos. You're going to read blog posts. You're going to use ChatGPT on your own. This is likely to be slower, a little bit more uncertain, but certainly you can do that because I'm an example of it because I taught myself how to do that. Number two, you can say, Rob, this is great, but I would love to accelerate the speed and the quality in which I could do this. Cool. Go and sign up for a course or a program from an expert who is already doing the thing to say, hey, here's the foundation. Here's how you can personalize. Here's how you think. Here's how you can create. Boom. So you get put into somebody else's roadmap the same way that you and I do business all the time, right? I got the framework. If you want the thing, show up and do that. Or number three, work directly with that person. And why do I share this? Because people are over dramatizing what it actually takes. All you have to say is, what is the level I want to play at? What speed do I want? And what is that level of commitment? And yes, with levels of commitment comes financial investment. But guess what? The ROI on these things is legitimately like million X. So from my perspective, I want to continue to learn from the best all the time because we're playing an exponential game. So when you keep it this simple, all you have to say is, cool, I'm in. All the fear goes away. How am I going to do this? Because you know what the underlying problem is here? A lack of consistency, right? And there's a book that changed my life, The Power of Consistency by Weldon Long. And what he said is, you know why most people don't achieve their dreams? They just don't spend enough time in them. The average person might think about their goals once a year. The end of January 1st, hey, I'm going to set this New Year's resolution. 2 weeks later, they never see it again. The best in the world, at minimum, look at their goals once a day. Why? Drip, 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 drip. So if you understand that consistency is a part of this game and you want to learn how to use AI, then I'll just say, well, tell me your consistency practice. I don't know, Rob. Well, cool. Here's a simple thing. Commit to 15 minutes a day for 1 month of just using ChatGPT. But Rob, I don't know what to put in there. Hey, ChatGPT, I'm brand new at using ChatGPT. I don't even know what to put in here. Help me understand this, right? And when you're a high-performing person, you will naturally, probably after a few minutes, start asking some questions. And if even that's too hard, then start with this. And this is a framework you can use forever. And the way I'll say this is, if you feel stuck when you're using ChatGPT, ask these questions. Number one, what's alive in me? Number two, what are my goals and dreams and vision? Number three, what are the biggest challenges I have in my life right now? When you come from any of those three, now you always have a menu because you say, well, what's alive in me? It's like, oh, I just had this amazing podcast in Genesis and she talked about a 10-year into a 1 year there. And I haven't really thought about compressing my business that quickly. What would that look like? And for you, I've got a little nugget for you because this is just like a real-time creating session. I want you to take the transcript of this podcast and put it into ChatGPT because you said something specifically that I don't even know if you are aware that you said. You were talking about your impact and your goals and the things that you want to create. And what did I hear? I just heard a traditional coaching conversation with Rob because every single call that I do starts the same way. Genesis, what would you love to create today? Well, I would love to create, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting there and what am I doing? I said, oh, cool, Rob, what do we do? And I'm like, well, you just told me exactly what, but I share this, yes, comically, but actual reality because what did I actually hear? Your heart,
Mm,
your vision,
mm,
your dreams, and oh, what do I hear? I never thought of that. I never thought that the thing that I was thinking is
mm.
actually the answer. And sometimes you just need to get into a room or a conversation with someone who can help pull it out of you that's already in there. Hey, what are you working on right now? Tell me about this. And it's just like, and then once you understand this, then your vision lights up. So once again, the more you see, the more you can see. I want you to see that the things that you share, even the transcript of this conversation, this is so content rich right now that if someone just took this conversation from this podcast, it would change their life forever. And that's how simple this can actually be.
Guys, this is a gift to you. This is a literal gift. Everything that Rob's been talking about today, he works with high performers every single day and he breaks things down. And as you can see, he has a plethora of knowledge with regard to this. But what I love so much about him and his brand and everything that he stands for is that it is truly heart led and that there is so much more depth to the content, that it's truly about the layers, the depth of the layers of not only your life experiences, but the desire to truly change lives and serve at such a greater capacity. And so, even, you and I have been talking offline for a little while now, and I've been following along with like the AI trends, but I've never heard the things that you're talking about today conveyed in that depth. And to me, that's just so powerful because people need to hear that AI is not going away. It is becoming more and more a part of our lifestyle at every angle and every single aspect of what we do. And so when we can really understand how to utilize it from that heart space, that truly is what's going to set us aside, not only from our competition, but also allow people to genuinely connect with us. And that's something that I've never wanted to lose sight of. And I know you're the same way, is just I want people to always feel like they're connecting with Genesis, connecting with Rob, connecting at that deeper level because that's truly what makes us unique. We all have our own set of uniqueness that we bring to the table. And so when we are amplified and our voice is heard through ChatGPT, whatever it is that we're creating, and we can utilize that software from that voice, that's when it becomes so incredibly powerful. So I'm just thinking, so much bigger picture as you've gone through all of this, and the fact that there is a framework, there's a very specific framework that you can utilize, that it's not just throwing stuff in there. You can do that, but you can also utilize a sequence that's going to help you identify like what needs to happen next and how are my thoughts, like, how is everything coming together with the way that I'm thinking so that it does match the vision, it does match the sequence of where I'm going with my business, and ultimately how we want everything to look. And I also love when you were talking about like just the idea behind bringing coaching into it, where whether it's Dan Martell or someone else speaking into you, I'm gonna use your name, I'm gonna use Rob, I'm gonna say, "Hey, what would Rob Cressy say in this situation?" Because, when you can bring perspective from the other person, how cool is that? Because then it's not only mentorship coaching, but it's like you're actually getting that connection with them and how they would coach you, how they would train you to build something out. So, I think it's super cool because you can use it in so many different ways.
So, what I'm about to share is another one of those things that can change your life that you won't be able to unsee once you hear this. There are three words that are not part of the vocabulary of people who aren't in the game of AI or they're just dabbling, versus those of us who are dangerous and using this at the highest level, dangerous in the best way possible, of course. And you know what those words are? Intentional by design.
Mm.
So when you say, oh, we can put on the lens of Dan Martell, what is Rob here? Well, I open up my chat GPT and it says, act as Dan Martell, my world-class coach with depth and commentary.
Mm.
So why? Because is amazing and it can give you just their point of view. But I want Dan Martell's point of view as somebody who's building billion-dollar businesses, runs an AI venture studio, has millions of followers on social media. He's actively a coach of both of ours right now. So when you're already about that life, it creates a different lens. So once you see that and understand that, then you can go, well, then let me create a board of advisors for myself for different use cases. So if I want motivation, act as Tony Robbins. If I want heart-led routines, act as Robin Sharma. If I want to live my best, most epic life, act as Jesse Itzler.
Mm.
But what are we doing? We're bringing intention into the conversation and prompting by design, right? So most people, once again, they're just writing a question to try and get a transactional answer versus, ooh, here's this perspective that I love. They're my expert. Now you and I are co-collaborating on this. So the way that I create incredible results that impress myself is I'm creating with Dan Martell and Ed Milet, Brene Brown, and all of these people. And it's like, wait, you can do that. You can do anything. So how about we be intentional by design? Who do you want the expert to be? What do you want it to be? And since we're here, I just have to give the next gift because it is what it is. Here's the framework to use for the rest of your life with ChatGPT that'll immediately create better results for you because systems scale. And most people do not have a system for how they prompt to get repeatable, consistent answers.
Right.
And there's only 3 letters I need you to remember. A, G, C. A, act as an expert. Act as Dan Martell. G, goal. What is the goal that you would like to accomplish? I would love to build a 30-day social media strategy for short form video for Instagram, where I'm creating 1 reel a day. Each one is 30 seconds or less. And it helps transform somebody around leveraging AI for business growth from a heart-led perspective. And then C, context. All that other information right there. Hey, I want this to be light, easy, and fun. I'm going to bring a comical yet brand safe lens. Sometimes I'll have guests, sometimes I won't. I want to batch record on Tuesdays and Thursdays. AGC. Well, what does this do? This gives a simple structure for getting the most out of AI from somebody who's already learned how to do this, right? Because most people be like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that existed. So now when you use ChatGPT, you can literally just start with this. Act as colon, goal colon, context colon, and then fill in the blanks. So that you can sit there and say, all right, who's the expert that I'm creating with right now? All right, what's the goal of what I want to accomplish? And what's the additional context? And with this framework, you will immediately see 1000x results.
This is absolute gold. This is so good. I mean, I literally could sit here and talk to you all day and just go through all of this. There's so much good stuff. AI, I have to admit, it was one of those things. I was one of those people initially that thought about, like, taking away the human side, taking away something from myself. But talking to you more and more, it's making me realize what's possible and just how I can bring more of myself out into the world in such a more profound way. So it's not taking something away, it's adding so much more. And that's what I love about this is that we can do, like you said, anything. You literally can do anything with it. And we can utilize it for all positive experiences. Anything that you can imagine, anything that you want to create, it's there at your fingertips. Whether it's a collaboration or a group you want to create or something that is like a project that's in your mind, it's all there for the taking. So I just want to thank you so much for being on today. Like I said, I could keep you here all day with me, asking you questions because you are just such a wealth of knowledge. And I thank you so much for sharing your frameworks, all of the things that you share in your big high level programs. And how can people follow you, Rob? How can people take those next step if they want to get some more of this great content? And also, I mean, just like talk a little bit about your programs and how they could get in.
Yeah. So, number one, if you vibed with this and you resonated this, you can follow me on Instagram at Rob Cressy and then DM me Genesis, and I will send you my getting started framework that'll immediately level you up there. So, at Rob Cressy on Instagram, I run a program called Undeniable, and it's a group coaching program to help people be heart led leaders in the AI era where we're growing our business and our life together. Because here's the thing that I hope you and others experience is that this is what's possible when you get into the right room and the right conversations. Nothing that I do from a coaching perspective is about me other than the fact that I am my own first client and then I share with others and I help lead the possibility. So when someone like you comes to the table and you're like, I got these big goals, these big dreams, all of this stuff, I'm like, this is unbelievable because the growth that we can see is legitimately what happens because you put in this foundation. And then once you have that foundation, it's like, oh my goodness. But more importantly, and you even said this, and I hear this often, I'm so excited right now. So for me, this is like a cocoon of possibility.
Mm.
And then once you live in that, anything's possible. So if you vibe with that, DM me, or you can go to robcressy.ai. I've got a lot of free frameworks if you want to go down that path. If you want to have a conversation, you can hit me up there. And I have to end on this because why? And this is a very important thing because I always want to break down the barrier that somehow I'm different or unique than anybody else. The legitimate reason for why I show up this way is because when I graduated college a long time ago, I had a dream for working with an ad agency. And instead, I was unemployed for a year and a half. I was dead broke, lived off my credit card. And I finally got my first job at a Fifth Third Bank call center, slinging home equity loans, making $10 an hour in a cube farm. I was the furthest away from my dreams I could conceivably be. I hated life. So for 18 months, every day I went in 7 minutes late and I left 7 minutes early. I was Peter from Office Space. I dreamed of this better life and I was so far away from it.
Mm.
So what am I willing to do now to never go back to being the person who had to work in a call center making $10 an hour? And you're telling me you're going to give me access to ChatGPT for $20 a month and you can
Yeah.
create and do and dream anything that you want? That's what's going behind all of this. I've got a wife, I've got a son. I want to be the best father, the best husband, the best coach, the best person for our community. So this is the connection to the heart and to the why. And I wanted to break this down because I'm no different. I just show up a certain way.
So good. I love it. I love all of it. And you know, family, absolutely. Family is at the forefront and doing everything that we do at home and bringing it all together and for the sake of time and just the big vision. And this is where the world is going. So if we can be on the forefront of that and have your knowledge and wisdom guiding us, it's going to help us in every level. Every level that we're at, we're going to be able to grow and build upon. And I just thank you so much for your time coming on the show today and providing so much great content. This was like mind blowing.
You're welcome. I enjoy doing this.
This conversation with Rob is such a powerful reminder that AI isn't about doing more, it's about creating more alignment, clarity, and impact. And when we lead with who we are, what we value, and the vision we're building, AI becomes a tool that truly amplifies our humanity instead of replacing it. Rob, thank you so much for bringing so much value to the table today and making it possible for people to recognize what they can do, how they can utilize AI to the best of their ability. And to everyone listening, this is your reminder that when you create from the heart, you win.